This is further explained by saying that if this spending is done to please God and to discipline the soul, then this is the example of the person who plants an orchard not on land which is washed away by floods, but on such high and even ground where the climate is also favorable, so that if there is rain, it bears double the fruit, and if there is no rain, a light drizzle is sufficient to bear fruit because of conducive land and climatic conditions. The words of the Quran are, وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَتَثْبِيتًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ كَمَثَلِ جَنَّةٍ بِرَبْوَةٍ أَصَابَهَا وَابِلٌ فَأَتَتْ أُكُلَهَا ضِعْفَيْنِ فَإِنْ لَمْ يُصِبْهَا وَابِلٌ فَطَلٌّ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. And those who spend their wealth to please God and to firmly attach their own souls to the truth are like an orchard which is on a high and level ground. If a heavy shower falls upon it, it yields up twice its normal produce. And even if a heavy shower does not fall on it, a drizzle is enough to produce fruit. Keep this example in mind and rest assured that God knows whatever you do. However, this reward is for spending done from one's clean and pure wealth, and which is not accompanied by hurting the person on whom it is spent and by emphasizing it as a favor. Presenting to God something which a person does not like for himself is a very mean act. Whatever we have is given to us by God. If we give something to Him in His way and adopt a mean attitude in this, then in the words of Imam Amin Hassan Islahi, there is a strong chance that a person, instead of pleasing the Almighty and disciplining his soul, ends up distancing himself from the Almighty. Similarly, if a person keeps boasting of his favor on the recipient and hurts him, then this means that he does not have the magnanimity, because after being blessed with the motivation of spending on the poor, such an attitude can only be adopted by petty-minded people, people who think that those on whom they have spent should always live under the burden of their generosity. Consequently, when this wish of theirs is not fulfilled, they always want to humiliate that person by taunting him. The Quran states, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَنْفِقُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ وَمِمَّا أَخْرَجْنَا لَكُم مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Believers, spend from your pure wealth and from that which we have brought out of the earth for you, and don't even think of spending something worthless in the way of God, which you yourselves would not receive except with closed eyes. And you should know that God does not need such spending from you, and He is glorious. At another place the Quran says, الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى كالذي ينفق ماله رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله ولا باليوم الآخر فمثله كمثل صفوان عليه تراب فأصابه وابل فتركه صلدا لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا والله لا يهدي القوم الكافرين أيود أحدكم أن تكون له جنة من نخيل وأعناب تجري من تحتها الأنهار له فيها من كل الثمرات وأصابه الكبر وله ذرية ضعفاء فأصابها إعصار فيه نار فاحترقت كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون. Those who spend their wealth in the way of God and do not follow the spending by reminders of their generosity and insults have their reward with their Lord. They shall have nothing to fear there, nor will they be sorrowful. A kind word and forgiveness at unpleasant instances is better than charity followed by inflicting hurt. And you should know that God is self-sufficient from such charity, and on such an attitude from you, He would have deprived you. However, besides this, He is also very gracious. Believers, do not mar your charity by reminders of generosity and by hurting the recipients, like those who spend their wealth to show off before others and believe neither in God nor in the last day. So such men are like a rock covered with soil. A shower falls upon it and leaves it hard and bare. On the day of judgment, they shall gain nothing from what they earned. And in reality, God does not guide such ungrateful people. Would any of you who has an orchard of dates and grapes underneath which streams of water flow, in which are fruits of all kinds, and he grows old, and his children are feeble, wish that this orchard be blasted by a fiery whirlwind and it burn to ashes? In this manner does God explain to you his revelations so that you may reflect. Surah number 2, verses 262 to 266. Imam Amin Yasin Islahi, while explaining these verses, writes, "This is the parable of a person who has planted an orchard of grapes beneath which a canal flows to keep it blossoming. There were other types of fruit also in the orchard, and it also produced various crops. The owner of the orchard grew old, and all his children were of tender age. Meanwhile, a fiery whirlwind passed through the orchard and totally destroyed it. The Quran says that a similar fate will await the charity spending of a person who did not protect it from destructive calamities. The lightning which destroys the residents is hidden in their own precincts, and it will appear exactly at the time when they will not be left with the option of obtaining what they have lost." Amin Yasin Islahi, Tadabbur-e-Quran, Volume 1, page 619. In the verses of Surah Bani Israel under discussion, the Almighty has explained that only people who adopt a balanced attitude in their spending and consider the sustenance they have been given by God a blessing and not a result of their own planning are afforded with the urge and will to spend in this manner. Consequently, two further things are stated. Firstly, wealth should not be squandered, for it is a blessing of God, and the right attitude in this regard is that a person should spend it in a balanced and efficient way, and whatever he saves, he should consider that he has been entrusted with it as a share for its rightful recipients, and with full caution discharge this duty of handing it over to them. The reason for this is that a person who does not adopt a balanced attitude regarding his needs is not able to even find time from his pastimes and pursuits to fulfill such duties. The Quran says that people who squander their wealth are Satan's brothers, and Satan is very ungrateful to his Lord. He allures people to his ways and entices them to spend on things which earn the displeasure of God. While explaining the balanced attitude in this matter, the Quran says that a person should neither be miserly nor prodigal, so that when he needs his wealth, he ends up yearning for his wealth and is reduced to indigence. On the other hand, he should spend in a balanced way and always save something so that he is able to help others whenever needed. The Quranic words used for this are وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَدَكَ مَغْلُولَةً إِلَىٰ عُنُقِكَ وَلَا تَبْسُطْهَا كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ فَتَقْعُدَ مَلُومًا مَحْسُورًا. Secondly, it is the wisdom and will of God which govern the financial circumstances of a person. He may be blessed in abundance in this regard, or he may have to live hand to mouth. The only responsibility of a person is that he should work diligently to create opportunities for his livelihood. People who do not understand this not only do not spend on others, but many a time become so callous as to even kill their children for fear of poverty. The Quranic verse of Surah Bani Israel quoted above, which mentions this, specially alludes to the evil Arab custom of burying alive infant girls in the time of Jahiliyyah. The psyche behind this was that since a woman is not an earning member of the family, why should one bear the burden of her upbringing? The Quran forbade this heinous practice and said that it is the Almighty who provides for these innocent children and also for those who indulge in this practice. They should rest assured that the Almighty is ever watching the circumstances His servants are going through. He is not unaware of them. At another instance, this aspect is explained thus in the Quran. الشيطان يعيدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعيدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا والله واسع عليم يؤتي الحكمة من يشاء ومن يؤت الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب. Satan threatens you with poverty and tempts you to spend on lewd things, and God promises you His forgiveness and His bounty, and God is munificent and all-knowing. He, according to His law, gives an awareness of this promise of wisdom to whom He pleases, And he who receives this awareness indeed receives a treasure of great good. Yet none but men of sense receive a reminder from such things. Surah number 2, verses 268 to 269.